Hi guys. I watched the movie Hitch. I had to do that largely out of the process of elimination because the only other movie I hadn't seen was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and I just felt like I could not manage that. I saw that Clark, you did. You're a rock star. I'm not a rock star. I just couldn't do that. So I watched probably the opposite of that, which is the movie Hitch, which is funny with Kevin James, who's just so funny, and Will Smith, classic Will Smith, like in his funny time before he got like weird with whatever happened with him and Jada. And the two of them together are total magic. I totally lolled the whole time. I heard the word lol today. You probably all have heard that. I'm a little archaic, but I keep trying to find reasons to use it because I feel especially hip. So the movie Hitch is about Will Smith's character who is a matchmaker and tries to hitch people up, I'm assuming. The movie starts with this, it just says 60% of all human communication is nonverbal, it's body language. 30% is in your tone, which means 90% of what you're saying isn't even coming out of your mouth. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know that that's necessarily true, but thought I would throw it out there. And of course, these themes of truth telling and lying are thrown out, throughout the whole movie. It's his job to help these gentlemen who have sort of written this story about themselves in their brain, these truths about themselves in their brain, how to help them overcome, how to help them have courage to go after whatever female it is that they have feelings for, and Hitch helps them strategically do that by understanding and watching and listening and responding to that female in the way that she needs. So he helps facilitate and kind of um, navigate that relationship, and has a lot of success doing that. So, it's really about impression management, which we've touched on a little bit, um, and truth telling and then deformation of truth telling, which is lying. But something that really struck me that I started to think about, which is kind of random, um, but it was the idea of habits. We talked about habits a little bit in Sacramento. We watched a short YouTube video on it by James Smith, the guy that wrote Desiring the Kingdom. And I went back and I watched that again. I'm a little fascinated by this idea of habits because um, there's such transformational potential in acknowledging the habits that we have and changing those habits, which takes some work, but habits that we have aren't always good. So anyway, he says in that video, love is a habit. It's a disposition, an inclination that we acquire. Discipleship, something we're all interested in, is a process of rehabituation. I feel like that's a big word. Another word I hadn't heard before. I'm totally expanding my vocabulary today. Acquiring new habits, implanting new habits, rolling back old ones. A lot of our actions are generated out of character dispositions, not out of decisions that we make in our head. So I'm still just kind of processing this. A theme that ran throughout the movie, which isn't necessarily a practice that we have talked about, um, but it maybe is underneath some of the practices, or why we need some of the practices we've talked about, is rejection. These guys have been rejected. Will Smith's character is rejected. The other main character, Eva Mendes, her character was rejected, and they've sort of built these walls around themselves so they don't have to go through the pain of ever being rejected again. But from that rejection, from the insecurity that comes from that rejection, we create these habits and create these rabbit trails of the way we think things are going to end up, and the way we think about ourselves and our value and our worth, and our lack of security and courage and confidence. And this process that James Smith talks about, I think, is very interesting. The rehabituation of rolling back those old habits and creating new habits. And ironically, these characters were able to do that from love. And the greatest love we know and we have in our lives is the love of Christ. And so I just wonder about how dealing with our rejection and our insecurities, and creating habits of what the real truth is, that can come from such a pure love, is something worth thinking about. So those are my thoughts on this movie, and I hope they make sense. It's kind of one of those like, should I really do this right now or wait till tomorrow? But it's on my little post-it note list of something I wanted to do today. So I'm doing it, and I'm submitting it, and I'm crossing it off the list. And it makes me smile to think about you guys on the other side of the screen. So have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is. Thanks for watching.